Okay, buckaroos, here's the deal. If I don't have brakes by the end of today, I might kill myself. These jack stands have been under here for like a month. This whole pile over here got turned upside down because it's winter. It's winter now. Where did this wheelchair even come from? We have it's a wheelchair. I digress. This was the wrong part. This was the wrong part. This is probably correct. And this one's probably correct. Shut up. That is ugly as sin, but at least they're unobtainium, so I paid $30 for it. So this thing fell out of the drum when I initially took it apart, back when I discovered there was nothing in here. I don't know where it goes. So this stuff's kind of on there. I'm gonna pull that spring around and go up and over. This is the right side, so I gotta make it look like this, but up there and flipped, and it's a whole thing. That's fine. New plan, don't do drum brakes one-handed because everything falls out. So the only thing that retains that is this spring just kind of hooking through and going around. It's really weird and it wants to pop off and it's kind of garbage, but apparently that's how it works. This hooks in from behind, but this little springy guy is a huge pain and I am not taking it back off, so I'm gonna struggle. Because this struggle's better than that struggle. That actually wasn't that bad. It's got like a little tooth and you gotta rock it in this way. Anyway, so the big end of this rusty piece of crap comes in here and it kind of sandwiches that lever and the shoe together. I don't know how well I framed that. So then that's all gotta stay where it is while I pull this spring up and over, which is a huge pain. Right, and then this little guide piece moves slightly and you have to fight with it to get it back in the spot. And then this little fella goes into place. It's actually kind of clever and I never would have figured it out if I didn't have a drum in front of me. It goes back here and the spring wraps around that hook and then you pull up. I feel like there's a reason this is all color coded because there's a lot of parts. And then you find out this is in the wrong order, so that's got to come off, this got to come off, but it's a huge pain. There are two types of people working on drum brakes. There are those who don't know what they're doing and end up just giving up and leaving everything out and putting the drum back on. Retards. And then there are the people who know what they're doing and they end up getting hurt because there's a lot of springs in a lot of places under a lot of tension and you get little owies on your fingies. Okay, that's better. I'm just gonna put that shoe on. There's nothing really to show there. I'll give you a time though. I lied, there's a little bit of detail. So you got this little pin, comes through this hole in the back, goes there. And you got the shoe and you put this spring on it and you put that thing on it and you squeeze it all together, just pushing with all your might. And you have to figure out how to twist this thing that's got no way to twist it and lock that little pin in. It's the biggest pain. I've experienced a lot of pain in my life. I have to look at this face in the mirror every morning. I know pain. This side's especially fun because in addition to the immeasurable pain and anguish, that thing has to stay aligned and engaged on both ends. Also, check out my worn out leaf springs. Yay. There's another spring here. It's probably a parking brake return or something, I don't know. And here's the reason I took the drums off in the first place. So when you pull your parking brake lever, it pulls that lever, right? That one there, pushes on that bar and pulls this drum out. That's how it works. There's a spring here, and there's a spring there. Spring there, spring there, spring there, spring there, spring there, spring there. I'm putting another spring here. There's your self adjuster. This one's for the right. We're on the right side of the Jeep. They're side specific because this one is a right hand thread and the other one is a left hand thread. The little saw teeth are directional. Works off of this little hand guy. He's got a spring on him. When you press the brake, it does stuff, and this will click and ratchet and adjusts how far the shoes are at rest. I'm gonna grease the heck out of it. This is the first part of the job that isn't a huge pain. These little guys are seized more times than not in my experience, and Molly Grease never done me wrong. It also holds them together while I'm installing. And well, the fewer things that fall out of this, the better, because drum brakes make me angry. It goes that way so the little hand can ratchet on it. One more spring, because there aren't enough springs in here. Before you get all buttoned up, there's a little window back there for manually adjusting the self-adjuster. That is helpful when you're trying to take drums off. So a lot of times people will just wail on them with the biggest ball peen hammer they got. And in reality, you take this little plug out there, these hardware kits come with new ones. Take this out and poke at that self-adjuster with a couple of flathead screwdrivers. It's kind of a pain, but it's less of a pain than just wailing on the drum. And I mention that because when you put all this back together, you can adjust it so that you don't just have a big dead spot until it self-adjusts. Does that make sense? And I mention that because there's obviously going to be a lot of play in here because I haven't adjusted it. It's just all the way in. And rather than making the drums self-adjust, you can tighten it up and get it close. I am going to need a new drum. Now I gotta take the other side off to put the parking brake cable in because I didn't do it last time for some reason. It probably got dark, I don't know. Oh, you know what? I remember why I didn't do it last time. I didn't care. You know, most people would have just dealt with having a seized up parking brake, but I knew that it was a thing that I could fix, so I ended up in a world of pain because, well, the last guy was an idiot. And I say that not because he didn't know how drum brakes work, because that's pretty common. A lot of people never figure drums out. A lot of people never work on them ever. I say that because he took everything out, didn't know how drums worked, and then just put the drum back on a naked hub, and then sold the Jeep like at least a year later. Imagine. Good enough. The brakes actually felt really good before I knew I had none in the rear. So I'm looking forward to having literally some brake in the rear. Giggity. There's the other half of the parking brake puzzle. That part moves freely because it's not broken. Yeah. I did not think that would work. Yeah. Been waiting to do that for, I don't know, it feels like a long time. Don't do that yet. I gotta put them into the thing. You want it free so you have the room to hook up in there. Once you're hooked in, there we go. That's how you do it. Oh yeah. Oh, that's parking braking. Almost forgot I had to do this. There's one bend. Kind of approximating the bends as they happen. Quack, 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 quack. It could have actually been a lot worse. You know what? I'm actually using the camera right now so I could see. I was bending down and around, and nah, you guys are my eyes. I mean, my completely clapped out iPhone 12 Pro is my eyes, but you guys are my eyes. Okay, viewers, all 12 of you. Are those flares gonna hold? Is it gonna leak? All right, that's it. I guess you didn't really see it, but nothing blew out, and we have brakes now, and we're all good. I can drive it. I was already driving.